I'm just out here hoping and praying that you can at least hear me because I can't hear myself for nothing. But guys, hiatus, we apologize for it. Life. And for that matter, I'm all by myself tonight. My partners in crime decided they're just gonna go AWOL, but doing important stuff. I know that the Queen is in. Now, maybe let me not disclose. You know how dangerous South Africa is these days. You know how this country is so freaking dangerous these days. You leave for work, you don't come back, and it's not. Anyway, yeah, she's on a conference somewhere in South Africa, the diaspora, the world, okay? And of course, my boy is also traveling with work, so I do apologize on their behalf before I even start the show. It is the Slyso TV podcast. We are on season 2 and episode 11, and we haven't seen each other in quite some time. And by the way, one partner of this, or contributor, to this show is in the United States of America somewhere. So I'm the one who gets stuck at home because I have to broadcast. Maybe we need to take this podcast like wherever they go. By the way, siyakwamkela, siyabulela ngento yobana ukhethe thina namhlanje. Wow, South Africa, yo! Ndiyayoyika le country, guys. Like there's just so much that has been. Let me have a sip. Ndizokwazi uziveza igama labo because they were supposed to be a sponsor and they decided baba zawuzenza tsolo. Ndizithi manzi ndiphinde ndikwamkele. It is the Slyso TV podcast, and by the way, on the comment section, noba usibukele ku YouTube okanye usibukele ku Facebook, but please make sure that you do comment because it's been explosive in Mzansi Africa, and I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Andiyazi noba mandiqale ngaphi. In fact, I think ndiyazazi into yobana mandiqale ngaphi. There's a bombshell. Okay, and ndiyazazi into yobana ngomnye waba bantu bebe-guilty into yobana mabazibanjwe ezinjubaqa abantwana bathe batshisa i-University of whatever. Ndathi phaa kwi-comments ndadibana nomnye umfo esithi yebra Slyso uyingxamela le nto ngenzeka into yobana abafundi abananto kwenza nale nto. Ngelinye ixesha ezi nkampani eziqashiweyo into yobana mazigade xa kukho ii-protests nazo ziqonda into yobana jonga mayoluleke laa nto yokubana kungabikho imvisiswano, okay, okanye kubekho i-protest ukwenzela uba babhatalwe. Ndathi uthini? Guys, from a business perspective, you would rather risk i-life yabantwana babantu ngenxa yaloo nto? Well, that was an opinion, and what do they call it, Kanen? Conspiracy theory. Right? Ebesibhizi nayo into yobana hayi mfowethu ayinakwenzeka, but xa ujonga ezinye izinto ezithe zenzeka wazibona nawe South Africa this past couple of andiyazi weeks, months, andiyazi, yeah, kulapho sikhoyo abantu abaninzi abathethi man. Kodwa ke comment yakho ndiyayifuna, bangabe usibukele ku Facebook okanye usibukele ku YouTube, please. Yeah, like and subscribe. Zonke zanto zikhumshileyo badla ngozithetha xa ubukela iividiyo ze-YouTube. Please like, please follow, please do this, please do that. Yonke loo nto leyo yenze umntu asekhaya, okay? Yeah, ziliqela. A lot has been happening in South Africa, but we're going to stop. Ezinye zazo shem ke zimnandi, okay? Bendike najonga ncokola kwakunye nee-colleagues zam namhlanje ndithi, guys, if you think about it, this past weekend, is South Africans, in spite of everything else that has been going on, they were out here. There was Travis Scott. There was Lupe Fiasco with a Back to the City at Jozi, both at Jozi, both Epitoli. They had Blacks Only, a milestone for them. And I have to take my hat off to David Gao and the boys, everybody that was in there. That was like history, all right? If you were to look at the number of comedians that were on that stage, and to think in Dokbana, like, if you're a comedian and you've been in doubt, okanye you're an upcoming comedian, guys, if you saw Blacks Only, which was happening just stone's throw away from my place, it was epic. It was epic. So South Africa, in spite of everything else that's been going on, they have time to get out there baphinde bonwabe as well. So sachilo ndathi ndizilindile ke comments zakho. Ngubani lo? Dibana nayo yokuqala zibekwa. Zibekwa kuningi eMzansi kuthi uVyokazi uVini uSompali uthi jonga kuningi ya mavuvwana. Vuvu kuningi ya ndasekhaya. We're not even getting into it, but yeah. Let's get started. Guys. Kule nto besincokola sisithi, well, University of Fort Hare, abafundi besithi ke bona ke uprofessor makahambe as in yesterday, angahambi nangomso, makahambe izolo. Yeah, izinto zaqhubeka, kwatshiswa admin building out of all the buildings in the world. That's what we were talking about, like a colleague and mine into yokubana, like, out of all the, like, kutshiswe cafeteria. Nachiswe cafeteria baniyafuna, but like admin block. Well, thetha kwakunye ne Daily Maverick, and by the way, thank you to Daily Maverick for this story. I know yeah, they work very hard for his story zabo. That they are self-funded, so you can like and subscribe, and they also have like an option for you to subscribe and also to what's the word, to donate. Okay, these are journalists as sebenzelayo. It's almost like an independent news outlet, but it's dorabazana yakhumbula nese 60,000. Hey guys on this phone, but ke asikhwapho zininzi kuningi eMzantsi Afrika. Nkosi kakhulu. By the way, for ukhetha thina namhlanje uhlale kwakunye nathi ngomvulo ezinsukwini. Yeah. They say that the University of Fort Hare's Vice Chancellor, Professor Sakele Buhlungu, believes ukholelwa into yokubana last week's violent protests at the university were linked to the imminent release of a special investigating unit. Emona mose SIU. Asibona eza golf xa zifikile sithi sikhona. Yeah. Uthi ke nakukholela into yokubana ke yonke lento ingqamene kwakunye ne-imminent release of a special investigating unit report. Listen to this. Naming 33 high-ranking politicians implicated in academic fraud. Siphinde sibethe U10 sithi kanene kutshiswe ntoni, kutshiswe admin building. Bavela nabo abantwana bebuza into yokubana thina sizithatha phi ipetrol bomb ezinoba ziyongena phayana zithi. Well, thank you to another outlet that gave us a view of what happened there. This is Fort Hare University, guys, that you are watching right now. Imagine. Umlilo ngaka. Andiyazi yakwe-theory ithini. Nazi ezinye buildings around. Konto yenzekileyo. By the way, Uti, in many respects, this is a losing battle. Kutsho ke uProfessor Sakele Buhlungu wearing his trademark page boy cap. He appeared. I like indlela ababhala ngayo ku-Daily Maverick. Like they paint a picture. Yabona? Yeah. But anyway, uthi ke it has been a hell of a week. Yeah, mlilo kasatana lo Prof, ndiyavumelana nawe. The Vice Chancellor has and in an interview with the Daily Maverick in between a series of emergency meetings. Now you can imagine the number of meetings enokba ube nazo kwakunye nabanye abantu. Well, yawaphuma nayo premier isithi ke yena ke yeah, zonke ezinye universities ne-institutions of higher learning, they come, they consult with us as the legislature, they know yonke lento lena, but why iForte ingayenzi yona? Again, guys, Eyewitness News, Nkosi kakhulu, thank you very much for that story. And by the way, itsho imicimbi kuthiwa ke yonke lento besikade siyithetha sisithi hayi abantwana mababanjwe abantwana mabahambe bajeziswe zindlavini zaphi ezi ndathi ndakhumbula ndithetha ku-social media nomnye umfo and saying to bana like listen if the parents cannot parent we're going to parent and the first step of parenting these unparentable kids is going to be us taking them to jail to go and think about their future. But yeah, Sinto zenzekayo up South Africa. We move along, guys. Like, I want to make the show as short as possible today. I'm all alone and I don't want to bore you, Kungomvulo, but I just want to touch on things that were very interesting that were happening in this country of ours. This beautiful Mazanti. These beautiful Mazanti benchilo ndathi bangabusibukele ku Facebook okanye sibukele ku YouTube. Thumela your comments, whether it's about the forte or as a story. Operation Dudula, Mbeki says South Africans are not enemies of other Africans. All right. And obviously, as opinionated as I am, I said, as much as I love you, Zizi, as much as I admire you, as much as we did not have debt when you were in the presidency, when you were trying to create, billionaires, so that's compete no Rupert, it could not happen. But anyway, with all of that, great statesman indeed. There's another beautiful story that's coming up that we're going to be talking about that has to do with President Thabo Mbeki. But for now, I tend to differ. I want you to watch this, all right, so that we can talk about it.
That understanding among our people, which is very, very old, that South Africa is part of the continent, South Africa is part of the African diaspora. That's part of what hurts me when I see things like Operation Dudula. It hurts. We can't position ourselves as though we're enemies of other Africans. It's not right. There are problems we've got to solve in this country, and we can't say those problems are solved by people who have migrated to South Africa. We've caused problems. But I'm saying that's where we come from. And Tiosoga was saying, rather than perishing, Africa will rise. That even the Bible was saying that. So I think that for our foundation, if I make a claim to say that's our mother and father, what Tiosoga said 175 years ago, we must also ask ourselves, what are we doing to fulfill this vision that Soga had, that Africa will rise? Because I think as we look around the continent, starting with South Africa, there is much to worry about. There's a lot to worry about.
Don't you worry about a thing. Yeah, you shouldn't worry, President. By the way, that is former President Thabo Mbeki saying that South Africans cannot blame foreign nationals for the problems that the country is facing. Now, he was speaking at in Johannesburg, Abekol, Ngomgqibelo, at his foundation's Thanksgiving event, the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, celebrating 15 years of existence. Okay, you must remember that it's the same foundation that pulled out of the dialogue along with other ones, Zotata Nomamututu, de Klerk, Nezinye, saying that, guys. But anyway, I tend to differ. It's very difficult for me to just blatantly, I've just expressed how much I admire Uzizi and his intellect, his insights, his everything. But I do hear what he's saying, but you cannot express that without taking a jab at your own political party, the African National Congress. Because if you were to sit and think in the we've been led by South African, by African National Congress all of these years, right? It's been, people have been allowed, it's been slack at borders to allow people to come into the country without papers. There's a story we just read, we didn't have time to put it up on the board for you, of ibhasi yaseLimpopo. It was supposed to carry a number of people, but it was almost double the number of people that were in that bus. So, which means, and speculation is, upon inspection, le bus isuke njani e-Eastern Cape ide iyowa eLimpopo, overloaded with all of these people, over 40, I think about 42 people the last time, that lost their lives, who are of Zimbabwean origin, and they being highlighted as well is the, let alone the fact that, like, okay, opinions are out there, traffic officers zizabona, oh hayi baninzi ababantu, okay, sabi 200 uphinde uhambe, now all the way from the Eastern Cape to where they are. And somebody now, or the government of South Africa, is going to have to deal with the fact that apparently, and according to reports, is that a number of those people that were in that bus were not registered. So the South African government now has to call on the Zimbabwean government to help it identify people who are in South Africa without proper papers, right? So do you understand how complex it gets? Do you understand how it just doesn't end at you whipping Dudula? You know, a lot of stuff has been found, crime committed by people who are undocumented, who come into the country. So you can't have the other without the other one. It's unfair. That's just my opinion on what President was saying. And he was saying what hurts, I quote him verbatim, according to the reports, what hurts me is that when I see things like Operation Dudula, it hurts. We cannot position ourselves as if we are enemies of the Africans. If people are coming from other countries and they are coming to produce illegal and poisonous alcohol is poison on its own. But if you're going to have people that are not documented, that come from other countries, and these people are manufacturing this up in South Africa, and you telling me, like, Operation Dudula was... Like, I remember watching an interview, Operation Dudula, where they were saying, like, we've been knocking on all of these doors, but we've been parliament, ministers, premiers, everybody, they take us as if we are vigilantes, and all we want, you must remember, we had the stories that were dying from eating snacks, and it was found out like pesticides that it's supposed to be in farms and all of that, which means like South African Bureau of Standard policies are not adhered to. Like, for an example, a South African wouldn't dare open a spaza shop without following those, as far as I can believe. But you have people who do this deliberately. And just now on my phone, I actually didn't have time for it, Nayo. I just took a screenshot sayo. Okay. Oh, by the way, and this is I have to say big up to the Joburg police. And but there are over 700 wanted suspects arrested in Gauteng police crackdown. This was over the weekend, and some of those people were dangerous that were nabbed in that Operation Shaniela 2. Okay, this was just over this past weekend. Over 700 people, some of them murderers, some of them rapists, some of them ngabantu abophulumthetho ngokudluleyo. The story that I was coming to was another one I picked out from the South African Police Service Facebook page, where they say that Kimberley Public Order Police received information about blah 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 in Kimberley of a couple that was found to be with a consignment of medicine tablets and bottled mixtures, as well as cash amounting to just below 160,000 rand. Police arrested a couple of Zimbabwean nationals. Now, are you going to say the fact that it is stated there that South Africans are being xenophobic? Have you ever come across a South African ethengisa okanye ethengisa amayeza asuka esibhedlela? No, you have not. So that's where I have a problem with what President said there. It's like, it's fine. Highlight the fact that like people's lives are being put at risk when they attend away from hospitals and such, right? But it cannot be. Let's find out. I think I have a comment here coming from Usive Tembani. Uthini wena mntaka Tembani? Uthi le ithethwa Prof Buhlungu man nam bendikhe ndayithetha qha ndaphikiswa. Yeah, wedi phofa nayo ne-proof. That is Sive Tembani on our comments. So you probably have a comment about the story that we've spoken about, the current one that we're talking about, or okanye esinye silandelayo. I want to hear from you. This podcast is about us. It's about us as South Africans having conversations about is Jagwatina Singomzi. I'm not even gonna go to France. I'm not even going to go to our ambassador to France. The only thing I can say is that may his soul rest in peace. We're not going to entertain that because there's a lot of conspiracy theories and blah, 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 and all of that. We take what we are given for now. And if things change, we will probably see later on. And by the way, Dudula is now registered as a political party. They've been calling on a couple of things. They said that, like, according to the report as well, his remarks came after concerns from some human rights organizations as Operation Dudula has been posting its members at various clinics, assigning them to check the legal status of foreign nationals who use South African healthcare institutions. Now, why are you sitting with a Zimbabwean that is selling with cash just below 160,000 rand? Have you ever seen in reports of South Africans that actually do that? You go to a hospital, you steal tablets and medicine, and you go sell it to people? No, you've not. So it's new. So are you blaming them for being skeptical? Are you blaming them for taking steps that they only can take as citizens? Oh, because I'm a police and now busy. Go busy South African. By the way, apparently, Dudula now has also warned school principals in certain areas not to prioritize undocumented foreign nationals in local public schools. These are things that they are highlighting in order for us as South Africa, in order for the South African parliament to look into. Right? Remember, at some point, it's like, constitution here to it, South Africa belongs to all who live in it. But we were not anticipating that we will end up like, and then South Africans are feeling the pinch. And by the way, under this president, like, there is no working class in South Africa. People who were able to move on to the next class got stuck. Because people have lost jobs. Are you going to sit here and say that like over 6 million people that have lost imisebenzi yabo since we've had this president that we have now? And you're going to say South Africans, oh, you're too lazy to do shit? No, I don't think it works that way. I don't think it is fair. But anyway, we move on. I'm going to try Betuna as much as I can not to vent, but to share what's happening in our country, where we are right now. We have 3 political parties that decided that they are going to come together and form just for people to have options, right? They see the decay. They see, I mean, like, what's it? The guy who was with the DA, Musi. saying that, for an example, a person who's going to be running for presidency, all right, should actually foot out the money themselves, and our president should not be elected through the political party system, right? People must be able to put out their names. And South Africans must be able to run background checks on these people. That is why we're sitting with the Madlanga commissions right now and all of this. So what are you saying? Are you giving them a chance? Right? You look at Action SA. I live in Tshwane. I'm super satisfied with the mayor of Tshwane. Leave the political party aside. A person who's on the ground and making sure that shit happens. A person who says that, like, I'm out there with you. And that is something it had to take uNathi Mthethwa to pass on, and for Ucele to stand up and say, yeah, we need to go to the people even if they're going to swear at us. Other political parties did that before you. Now you taking stock of how to revive the economy? You bad. See, Pigany. But anyway, we move on, guys. There's just so much. There's so much to actually go through. I want to find my next story. And by the way, it's very unfortunate Upili is not here, because I was looking forward to finding out what is happening as far as G20 is concerned. You must remember, November is just around the corner. Where South Africa is expected to host. So I was hoping to get like an update as far as that is concerned. I'm going to be very honest. I have not been following that one, but it's been very interesting to see that different communities that make up a government, that make up a citizenry, are accommodated. I mean, coming from the youth 2020, the media 2020, the what do they call it? The parliament speakers or something like that. Like, so different formations. There's been an interfaith one. There's been all kinds of G20s where all of these countries come together and, try to see, like, how far are we as far as this is concerned, or as that is concerned? Are we going the right direction as a country? So it's been very interesting. I was hoping to get something very positive as far as that as well, as far as that one is concerned. But instead, what I got was this story right here. I'm going to try and read a bit for you. I'm just going to try and go through that one a little bit. Did I? Nope. I was too busy, my people. But there they say that there will be no G20 in Gauteng if salary disagreements are not resolved. This is a threat that's coming from the South African Municipal Workers Union, saying that under this presidency, we need these guys to sit down with us. I know that there were a couple of percentages that were put in there. I'm going to have to strain my eyes. Okay. There's There's a lot, but you can see, you can read there. But they're threatening the G20, which is going to take place in November. But anyway, we move on, guys. I said I want to make this show as short as possible. Good evening, Lindell. Nobody, like, for you to say something. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot going on, man. Whew. Okay. While we're still out there, this has to be my favorite story to attend to namhlanje. Oh man, this has to be one of my favorite stories to talk about namhlanje. Remember that advert? Hey, Vuyo, he's a big dreamer, that one. So as soon as I saw this picture of our former president, I was like, man, this so reminds me of that. What was his name? Vuyo. Hey, Vuyo, he's a big dreamer. So when I saw this, our former president being a photographer, okay, apparently camera was afforded by a company, invited a couple of people. In fact, where's the story? Let me give you the stories so that you can read them for yourself. Yes. Yonke in. Yeah, but there it is. Very interesting, very beautiful. Kept to the back. I wonder if it didn't go to Ishoga Travis Scott okanye Lupe Fiasco president. Because he's a head. He's a hip hop head, guys. Like, if you think about it, look at this guy. Yeah, he was entertaining people that had attended an event. Okay. They say that former South African President Thabo Mbeki showed he was a visionary of an unexpected sort. And this happened on Sunday. Saturday, remember, it was the 15 years of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation, and on Sunday he was on to other stuff. This is when he revealed a talent for landscape photography with a particular eye for vibrant sunsets, the moody interaction of sky and water. Oh man, the horizon, they call it, in the Karoo. Now, this secret apparently came out at the end of a 2-day meeting at Lake Pleasant near George. Okay, this is where this took place, where his task team on Information Society, a group that includes the chief executives of several major corporations in the formation technology field. So this was, man, I'm looking at Nikon, right? Because that's a Nikon camera he's got. I'm like, the free advertising? Because if Nikon were to ask me to do this, I would charge them a lot of money. Now, they're being advertised and marketed by none other than the former president. This was one of my very interesting pictures. Like abantu abadala, guys, like I'm a Xhosa, you will know this. Foot sake, man. Ibizwe ngubani le ntwana? Ngubani ommeme le ntwana? Like, look at this picture. Ufixaro sazabubulisa apha ecaleni, but uyabona nobana abazali anti ncanywa ngumama uMbeki. Wenzani lo sathana apha? You'll remember, was it Polokwane? I don't know whether they were like, hey, as Mfundo Mbeki, he was in the forefront. This guy. Now there he is, saying like, hey, president, hey, we fucked up the country, Hey, we fucked up the country royally, bro. Do you have any words like, what can we do? Okay, so we are starting a dialogue. It's almost like he's ready to have that conversation on some like, Thabo, please give us some advice, good man. And Thabo probably after smoking a couple of blunts, according to, no, not me. If you look at this particular picture, Chester Missy was like, Thabo Mbeki has discovered weed. If you look at how the gay look in his face, like the happy, yeah, gay means happy, go look it up. It doesn't mean only. Yeah, but anyway, a very beautiful one. Chester Missy saying, brah. I'm sure ikhona ifumene ipresident kutene happy kangaka namehlo ngalo China. Man, I didn't know I was gonna have fun like doing this particular one, but yeah, we move on. Man, there's this particular story. Like now, everybody has been like, yo, Brown Mogotsi. Even now, in Parliament, the ad hoc thing in my pop that's going on with Sibia there, saying like, hey, I don't know this Brown me. I met this Brown maybe once or twice. In fact, when I saw him, I had to Google his name. I had to go on Google and find out who this guy is. But you know what? I know Brown. Brown is there, Limpopo, those provinces there. He's a comrade. I think I've met him there. And by the way, I also met him when I was in Cape Town because he called me and he said some people were like, I'm like, hey, dude, kandi umazi kangakanani lo mntu? That's what you're being asked. You saying, they were like, no, I don't know this person. And then like, no, but we met. And then he called me, hey, hotel, I was working me. And then this guy calls me and it's like, hey, breakfast. I'm like, okay, cool, come to the hotel. And then they ask him about Cat, Usbi. And Usbi is also like, I've not met him. He's not my friend. I've met him 5 times less. I'm like, huh? Yeah, go look it up. I met him 5 times less than, because that's a comparison. Anyway, we move on. Guys. Where are we now? But speaking of Mafigzaro, speaking of Brown Mogotsi, you will remember the whole thing. Hey, Lenchubaka does not belong to ANC. Banxelele pha into bana expire kudala membership yakhe. That fucking doesn't matter. Into bana expire okanye 10. Card carrying member and all of that. Campaigning and doing all of this shit and sending people to the January 8th under your political party just because there's a technicality of probably like the membership like being expired for whatever reason now. And by the way, Brian Mogotsi said, hey, Nina South African Broadcasting Corporation kanimeni ke ndinike nje an exclusive ke nindibalisele ngale ingufikile izenza tsolo. This is part of what he said. I'm just going to go to where it's going. Guys, I want to keep this show to under an hour. Brian, on top of all the other things that he said, yonke into ayithethileyo i-South Africans ngathi zibambe apha kakhulu.
And talking of being implicated, the way Fikile is doing, like all the utterances he made, let me give you one. He traveled with Vusi KK abroad. Vusi KK has been convicted and sentenced for the killing of Wandile Boswane. It was also shown that he was with Vusi KK 2-3 days before Wandile Boswane was murdered. I know Boswane's family. You know, with our interaction, they showed me some proof that actually Boswane gave Fikile Mbolile 1 million rand and he promised to pay it back.
Yeah.
Today, the money is not paid.
Yeah.
You're saying that Mbalula was instrumental in working with Makeke to ensure that what was done to Boswane happened?
I cannot say that. I'm saying, in as much as he was with Vusi KK, currently Vusi KK has been sentenced. Do we have to label him? Do we have to tell him you can't be a member of the ANC? You were traveling with someone who's been convicted and sentenced? That's what I'm saying. That the same applies to his wife in Free State. She was involved in the housing scandal, where Fikile is a direct beneficiary because he's the husband. Do we have to say, no, you can't be a Secretary General because now your wife is implicated? He's using the name Brown Mogotsi to actually attack his target. And that target is Senzo Mchunu.
What didn't Kalagag be in as a fucker pants go bus? Dang! Brown. Yeah, saying I was using that so long I'm up when I figure nonsense. Also zenza tsolo ngama. Do you know, in fact, ndiyayazi ilandika ifamily kaBhozwane, by the way, and ayibona iproof intobana wena wafumane 1 meter. And in fact, waphinda wahamba lo mjida wacisha lo mjida. So dikutheni ke ngoku, in fact, like Brown ngabantu kuthiwa ubotshwe emnweni. I know abantu abaninzi bebekade besithi General Mkhwanazi uthethe ngathi ubotshwe emne. No, this guy, like sidibana nodibana izinto. No, it's like now because you are benefiting directly because it is the wife from the scandal of the law. Hey, now vusa izinto. And by the way, on a serious note, and here we are, we sit with people that say that they want to run this country. We sit with people that field questions on whether they are going to be the next president of the country. I remember, I'm not going to mention the gen's name, but he's a former journalist and now an advocate. I hope I get it right. I know him in titles. I hope I get it right, Ngonde. But anyway, where it was Mashatile, it was Fikile, and it was Nomvula. All of these 3 people, like, have been accused of some shit at some point. Are you telling us in 2026, are we going to be trying to vote for fucking people that have not gone through being investigated and being vetted and put them up as like presidents of the country? Are you nuts? No. It's not going to happen. That's just my opinion, by the way, as well. Yeah, but every now and then. We move on, guys. Like, there's just so much. And by the way, to advertise well, these ones almost advertised. Like, I don't know whether I should, like, people will be quick to go, okay, cool, that worked. Okay, yeah. I needed to put my drink in something, but I couldn't advertise this company because I have a relationship with them and we're talking about sponsoring, and then they mised me. They Brian Mogotsi me. Hey, they Mkwanazi'd me. Hey, they O'Sullivan'd me. Hey, all of these things. But anyway, we move on, guys. Gosh, yeah. We move on to lighter stuff, like just to wind the show off. How far are we now? Whoa, yeah, we're gonna be within an hour of doing this thing. So, very interesting and flippin' beautiful for me. I remember I was talking to a colleague as we were walking out, and I was like, "Yo, everybody's looking all tired today." It's like people went to all three shows. And she was like, "No, I wish I had gone to the Travis Scott." I was like, "No, I can't relate to Travis Scott." But Uskup Mzagela, my cousin, would relate. That's probably where he was. Somebody else will. And I remember a friend of mine, Uzola Fuchana, was asking, "Hey, now abantwana ke ngoku bebuza into ndobana Travis Scott bathetha ngaye." Did you do it just like your parents didn't know who Snoop Dogg was or Dr. Dre was? It's your turn now. Travis Scott, by the way, filled up the entire stadium. Apparently, there were a few glitches. The show started like an hour late and all kinds of stuff. But the energy South Africans have, check this out. Let's look at that. Clap his hands. Gonna stop it there, but like South Africans were out and about and making sure in Ndobana they are enjoying themselves. Yep. It was under the Circus Maximus the World Tour, and Castle Light unlocks this past Saturday, man. Apparently the night faced a couple of setbacks, including rain. But South Africans were like, "Yo, we gonna be there." That's our dude, you know. There was rain, and the show was delayed by an hour before he went on stage. Yet, South Africans showed you in the manner like, we just want to forget about the ish that is happening in our country. So very interesting, man. And I think as I was talking to having the conversation with the colleague, and I was like, yeah, go Travis Scott. My son would probably go there. Lupe Fiasco, because there was another crazy show going on. There's even an interview, and thank you to the people that put out, like, check this out. Lupe Fiasco.
Everybody that short notice will jumping in and
listen to the story. How they got in
Of
contact.
course, we've got super special guest, and this is all actually started from a tweet with Proverb. I think you said.
Proverb from Metro FM, by the way. Shout out to the boys, doing wonders. So this whole thing of bringing Lupe Fiasco started from a, just messaging tweets. It's like, yo, nigga, like, if you were to come to South African stuff, like, apparently that's where everything started.
I come out of South Africa, and then there's a guy called Proverb. He's one of the big rappers, and he started tweeting, and then he tweeted me, and I think the conversation started from there. So, I'm very happy that you're here because I think you'll get to see how much love you got here. And after this experience, you're gonna be asking, so when are we doing it again? So by round of applause, everybody please give it up to Lupe.
It's enough for me to just be invited into the spaces and experience the spaces myself. I want to come back when it's finished. It's like a whole side. It's not even finished. But it doesn't really matter, and not in a bad way. Not like, oh, I don't care. Like, it's just like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But just being here to speak is enough for me. Right? It's good. This is good for me. In terms of how would I capture this space, that normally comes later. I've only been here for like a couple hours. It's my first time seeing South Africa in the daylight, just now. But it'll come after. It normally happens after. I process, I absorb, I input. But as of now, everybody's been beautiful. It's been great. Everybody's been nice, been lovely. No problems, no issues. Yeah, don't do that. See that? Don't do that. No, but it's been good. It's been lovely, and I hopefully get the full experience when we do the concert. Yeah. I graduated in 2000, and I would go back, and the last time I went back, they put me in the Hall of Fame, right? So high school is important to me because that's where I learned how to rap. That's why I started rapping, was in high school. So for it to come full circle and to be up there is a vibe, so I'm proud of that. But then, affecting people, touching people's lives, educating folks on different things, seeing the love from my fans, everything.
By the way, as us gay Americans out there saying, this is going down the street and just checking out how people are feeling. It's like, hey, didn't they teach you about punctuation in freaking high school? But anyway, very beautiful individual. He was releasing and his career was going very well up until the record label decided to, all most major record labels will F an artist in the behind and take their money and stuff like that. So I had a dispute, and then he sort of took some time off the hip hop for a while. And during that time, he's one of 4. Hey, because he's been lecturing hip hop at universities in the United States. Yes, America, you can go to a school and say, you know what? I'm not doing engineering. I'm not doing medicine. Hold on. I'm gonna study hip hop. Yeah, get classes as one of the lecturers. People like Ninth Wonder, okay? A lecturer, okay? And you see people like no Alicia Keys, him, went to school. And all of a sudden we're seeing our own damn artists going to school. See Zake saying, I'm going to Harvard. You see Kulichana saying, I'm going to UCLA. And they just said, this art and this thing that you're passionate about, hey, it's our team. Yeah, man. So I think that's why I decided to bring the Lupe Fiasco article on, so that we can look at arts, we can look at what we do, this golden economy that was promised by people like the late Natim Teto, the golden economy, the arts, with the billions that it is bringing, but it's not making a difference yet in people's lives. So if you are one of those, okay, make sure you stick to it. Okay. Yeah, we closer to the end, my people. And by the way, just to check out what was happening at the Lupe Fiasco show.
Lupe Fiasco. This song right here, I dedicate this song right here to the lovely city of Johannesburg. his hip and he busted his lip. And for a week he had to talk with a list like this. Now we can end the story right here. But shorty didn't quit, it was something in the air. Yeah, he said it was something, so a lady couldn't.
Bawuyazi le ngoma umdala too much, Kick Push, first single yakhe, kick ass, up until today, classic, or maybe because I'm a hip hop head. But guys, thank you so much. It's been a lovely. It's been nice hanging out with you. As I say, my team is out. Our movie reviewer is in the United States of America. Toto is in a conference in a coastal city in South Africa. Billy has been summoned by the minister to go handle some very interesting and beautiful stuff as far as entrepreneurship and business is concerned in South Africa. And I am left all alone to just go crazy with you. Yeah, that was it. Our season 2, episode 11. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, people. Please, we do have that number where you can actually. Oh, by the way, yeah. Please subscribe. Subscribe, man. Please subscribe and follow. And by the way, before our next episode, I will have spoken to you. Remember, we said we also want to look at a language policy, your podcast, not policy as such, but like, should we toss in more closer? No. Than ezinye languages, to make information accessible, because I know in indobana abanye abantu babukela okanye bakhetha indobana bave izinto abazithandayo okanye bave indaba ngolwimi lwabo. So if you're one of those people, please, even in the comments now, you can still say, but we will run a poll and try to see going forth. Are we going 60-40, 60%, closer, 40%, Yeah, these things, because you're a part of it. You are building this podcast. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with me today, this evening. Please, obangabuza uthunyelwa of you once. If une message, nigga, you know this story. Did you see? Did you see those parliamentarians were like, even of you once? Sebetilitiwe. And Mkwanazi was like, yeah, I'm coming for your ass, nigga. If I got shit in your mbonelo chuchu benjani. Beautiful, this country we live in, but all we want is prosperity. All we want is for this country to grow. All we want is for people that are worthy of leading this country to a better place, of people who have the best interest of the heart. We've seen so much as far as criminality is concerned. And I'm going to leave you with this. I didn't even mean to. Think about it. We are sitting with an ad hoc committee hearing in Parliament. We have the Madlanga Commission. We're coming from the Zondo Commission. And this particular one is about the South African Police Service, right? Particularly about one government department. Now, how many more people are influencing tenders? How many people are going to have Lamborghinis taken from other departments, from the Department of Health, from the Department of Arts and Culture, from think about it, Department of Education, people who influence tenders, people who take and leave nothing for a South African. People who take just for you to be seen wearing a Louis Vuitton, just for you to be driving a Lamborghini. Sometime very soon, South Africans are going to have to fucking stand up. There's a whole thing of hiding behind these things. phone, hey, now I don't agree, now I don't. Nah, nigga. No. Someone might sit here and say, like, I'm probably inciting violence or some shit like that. I am not. People are hurtful. Kids don't know what direction to go. Because of the level of the pettiness of what you want to steal for. You want to steal so that you can fucking have an Olympic swimming pool in your freaking thingy. So you can buy a Range Rover like thingy, a toy car, for your kids. People in the hospital are dying just so you can drive in a fucking Lamborghini. God damn it. Anyway, I promised I'm not going to lose my mind. I'm not going to lose my head. Guys, it's been lovely. Let's be kind to each other. Let's love each other. Let's share what's best out there. There are a lot of South Africans that have this country's interest at heart. But most of them are scared because they might run into all kinds of trouble. They might lose their jobs. They might be taken out by fucking people that are bought to kill them for 2,000 rand. But we cannot suppress the truth anymore. We cannot, because this is what we want. We want a prosperous South Africa. We want a properly ran country. We want a country where little kids can be little kids and not grow up without parents because their father got shot, because mama wakho beyofuna umsebenzi and got raped and got killed. Love you, South Africa. Thank you so much.